What if the most important thing about you can't actually die? Not your name, not your memories, something deeper. Science tells us that energy cannot be destroyed, ever. It can only change form. So here's the question that quietly flips everything upside down. If you are energy, and energy never ends, then what exactly happens when a human life ends? Tonight, let's follow that idea all the way from modern physics to ancient wisdom and see what it might mean for your soul, your consciousness, and your place in the universe. Take a slow breath with me for a second. Right now, your body is doing something quietly miraculous. Trillions of particles are moving, exchanging energy, rewriting you moment by moment. We grow up thinking we're solid, separate objects, but the deeper you look, psychologically and physically, the more that illusion cracks. Your body is energy organized into a human form. Your mind is energy expressing as thought. Your emotions are energy moving through your nervous system. So you're not a thing, you're a flow. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you weren't the same person as before, even though you were still you? If yes, comment, "I changed," below. That feeling is important because it points to something real. You are a living system of transformation. Physics gives us one of its most unbreakable truths. Energy cannot be destroyed. Not by time, not by fire, not by collapse, not even by death. Energy can only transform. And here's your belief, stated clearly in the language of the universe. Energy can never be undone, never finished, never erased, only converted. So if your deepest self is energy, then the ending of the body cannot be the ending of you. That doesn't answer everything, but it changes the question from "do we end" to "what do we become?" Let's go deeper, not as a religious claim, but as a logical possibility. Imagine your body like a radio. A radio can break, but the signal doesn't die. The broadcast still exists. You just can't pick it up through that device anymore. What if the soul is similar? A field of conscious energy, your awareness, your inner witness, your emotional fingerprint, your sense of "I am." So when the body stops functioning, that energy doesn't vanish. It transforms. It moves into another dimension, another layer of reality we can't measure yet. Have you ever felt that someone you lost is still somehow present? Not in fantasy, but in a quiet, unexplainable way? Now let's bring this into psychology, because this is where it gets human. Your brain isn't just thinking randomly. It's constantly searching for meaning, for patterns, for signals, for purpose. That's why some moments feel charged. Not because they're supernatural, but because your mind senses something bigger happening. Think about these experiences. A sudden gut feeling that saved you from a bad decision. A dream that felt more like a memory. A synchronicity that landed at exactly the right moment. A deep emotional shift that changed your life overnight. Psychology might call these intuition, subconscious processing, or pattern recognition. But from an energy lens, these are moments where your inner frequency aligns with something deeper. So here's a question. Have you ever had a moment that felt like the universe was talking back to you? If you have, comment below. I want to hear your story. Quantum physics adds a strange twist to everything. Reality is not fully independent of the observer. At the quantum level, particles behave like probabilities. They don't settle into a real state until interaction happens. Now, I'm not saying thoughts magically control atoms, but I am saying something more subtle and more psychological. Your inner state shapes your outer world because it shapes your perception. When you're afraid, you notice threats. When you're in love, you notice beauty. When you're hopeless, you notice endings. When you're awake, you notice possibilities. Same universe, different observer, different reality. Your emotions are not private events locked inside you. They radiate. You've felt this before. You walk into a room and sense tension without anyone speaking. Someone's calmness settles your nervous system. A person's negativity drains you like a heavy fog. Psychology calls this emotional contagion. Energy language calls it resonance. You are constantly influencing and being influenced through subtle vibrations and visible actions. So here's the challenge. If your energy is always broadcasting, what are you broadcasting most of the time? And is that the story you want your life to become? Let's get practical, because this isn't just theory. Shifting your energy is not about pretending to be positive. It's about bringing your system back into harmony. Here are grounded ways people do that. Meditation. Not to escape reality, but to stop your mind from bleeding energy into chaos. Breath work. Your breath is the steering wheel of the nervous system. Change how you breathe, change how you exist. Music/sound. Because your brain waves and heart rhythms entrain to vibration. That's why certain sounds heal and others agitate. Gratitude and meaning practices. Not because life is perfect, but because meaning changes your psychological frequency. Nature time. Your body remembers coherence there. Which one of these has helped you even once? Comment it below. Meditation, breathwork, music, gratitude, or nature. Let's learn from each other. So here's what we're left with. Energy never ends, it only transforms. And if your soul is energy, then you don't truly disappear, you change form. And hey, you are part of this community. So feel free to ask questions, share your thoughts, and even share pieces of your life here. We're learning and exploring this together. Take care of yourself. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring the whispered dimensions with me. I'll see you in the next one. TC.